thrill me.
This show is part of the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Experience more on Facebook and YouTube.
It's Review It Man, reviewing what he can. Movies are his jam, so let's get twisted, man. It's Review It Rob. Hey yo, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Review It Rob show. I am your host, Review It Rob, coming at you with a fun episode. As always, spoiler-free review this week is going to be Transformers Rise of the Beast. As well, you get your mandatory DC news, your mandatory horror, spooky, thriller news, any other bits going on around the movie realm and video game realm, whatever else I could really talk about here to have some fun, man. Hope all of you are doing great. Appreciate you joining in to listen to the show. I haven't been doing much, honestly, just gearing up because this week is the Flash week, man. The Flash film is officially here after years and years of delays. We finally are getting the Flash film that I am oh so excited for. It's my most anticipated film of the year. I can't even begin to describe how important that movie is to me. I made a post on my socials earlier about this, but like that movie is everything to me, man. Like that's something that I've been down in the dumps, and I talk about mental health on the show and all that, and there's times where I'm just bummed out, down in the dumps, just feeling like useless and not wanting to go on and all that stuff. I remember that this movie is on the way. That gives me something to look forward to. And I know that sounds silly to some people, but that's the truth of the matter. And it's finally here, man. I'm so excited to finally watch this movie. The premiere is going on right now. All that good stuff, man. We'll talk about that in DC news, but that's going down this week. So excited about that. Special shout out to my brother, Tombstone Josh, fellow Throw Me Podcast Network brethren. He has a birthday this week. It depends on when you're listening to this show, but his birthday is this week, man. So big birthday shout out to Tombstone Josh. He is awesome as always. Check out his newest episode of the Metal Groove Podcast and all kinds of fun stuff going on the Throw Me Podcast Network, man. So if you can please do me a solid and hit that like, subscribe, and share, that would be much appreciated by all of us as well as myself, of course. Other than that, I did watch Jurassic Park over the weekend as it celebrated its 30th anniversary. That's my all-time favorite film, and kid you not, man, every time I watch that movie, I'm still in awe, breathtaking, just love that movie absolutely to death. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it, man. Anytime I watch that movie, I just jaw drops of, the scenes, especially the first dinosaur reveals and all that stuff, man. It's just, I love that movie to death, man. So I did that over the weekend, started playing the WWE 2K23 My Rise female storyline, which I'm digging. It's pretty fun. And other than that, nothing much, man. Just getting ready for the Flash. So, nonetheless, man, let's go ahead and jump in to the review this week. Again, spoiler-free review. It is going to be for Transformers Rise of the Beast. The film is rated PG-13 for language, intent, sci-fi, action, and violence. Sounds like a Transformers movie right there. Action adventure, 2 hours and 7 minutes, and it is currently in theaters. Returning to the action and spectacle that have catapulted moviegoers around the world, Transformers Rise of the Beast will take audiences on a 90s globetrotting adventure with the Autobots and introduce a whole new faction of Transformer, the Maximals, to the existing battle on Earth between Autobots and Decepticons. The film critic score for Rotten Tomatoes 52%, while the audience score 92%. 40% difference there. Let you know how much people disagree on movies. IMDb has it as 6.6 out of 10. I love to see that, man, because that is a grand scale. Again, I don't care whatsoever about Rotten Tomatoes scores. That will never, ever, ever make me decide to see a movie or not. Rotten Tomatoes scores are pointless. I mean, let's be 100% honest here. They're pointless, right? I mean, maybe you can be like, okay, let's check out what the audience score is, because critics, they're probably paid off a little bit or whatnot. Audience score you can probably look at and all that stuff, but at the same time, there's probably the audience members who are, like going towards one thing more than the other, so they'll like downvote something. I mean, that's why you can never trust these things. That's why you come to the Review It Rob show, man. Unbiased reviews all the time on the show, even with the Marvel stuff that I'm not a big fan of. I gotta say it every episode, I think. I will still give you a fair review of the Marvel stuff. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and jump into Transformers. So, 90s is where we're going with this movie, which I believe Bumblebee was as well. And this movie kind of is not I don't know how to describe it. It's not doesn't feel like a sequel to Bumblebee by any means whatsoever, but it kind of is. So that's the whole thing there. Now, with these Transformers movies, the main thing you're ever going to look at when it comes to these films are, of course, what? The Transformers. We want to see the robots, man. We want to see the Autobots. We want to see the Decepticons. We want to see battles and all that stuff, man. So that's my first point of the film. Those parts of the movie, fantastic, man. I don't have any problem whatsoever with those parts of the movies. Those are, without a doubt, the best parts of the previous Transformers films, and still the best parts now, because that's what we want to see, man. We want to see Optimus Prime and Bumblebee and all of them out there in the battles, man. So I had a good time with that, and it was cool. Saw it in RPX, saw it at a premiere screening, got a free poster, and a patch. Like I guess you iron on a shirt or something or a jacket. I don't know, but I got one of those for the Maximals, the Maximals logo, and cool, man. Like I didn't hate the movie by any means. I enjoyed it, but I'm not gonna say it's too much of a difference really from any of the other Transformers movies we've seen. Not including like the cartoons and all that stuff, like the live action films that started in the 2000s with Shia LaBeouf and Linkin Park and all that. Those films. It's not too big of a turn from those films. It's definitely closer to Bumblebee, I would say. And again, I haven't seen Bumblebee all that much. I'll be honest with you guys. These Transformers films are not go-to destination watching for me. Like, I have not, I can't even tell you the last time I saw a Transformers movie before I saw this one. And I know it was Bumblebee because my niece, like, loved that movie. So anytime I went over to my brother's house, she was watching that movie for a good bit, it seemed like every time I went over there, that movie was on. So I know it was that one. But yeah, these Transformers movies have not been go-to destination programming for me to watch over and over again. Like I'll watch it the first time it comes out, kind of like what I do in the Marvel movies. To be honest with you, I'll watch it the first time it comes out and then kind of forget about it. Kind of move in a different direction. But you know, the things that this movie does that I prefer, other than the past Transformers movies and all that stuff, it is a little more focused on the robots. It's easier to say robots. Autobots, Decepticons, Maximals. I mean, I believe there's another name for them in this film as well. I think it's a pretty cool name. Let me hit the Google machine real quick. Terracons. Yeah, so the Terracons are the bad guys. It's the Autobots, Maximals versus the Terracons and whatnot. Um, and cool and freaking menacing. Let me tell you what, one of those freaking Terracons, my goodness, like there is some horror around that character with the way they shoot things, and they kind of make it ominous and all that stuff when that character shows up and everything. I'll give him credit there. And again, that's the best parts of this film. Like, is the robots. It's so much easier to say robots. And those are the best parts. And that's not to say the humans are the worst part by any means whatsoever. They're probably more enjoyable in this film than they are in the past Transformers films. That's not a knock at Megan Fox, like everybody would say, or it's not even a knock at Shia. Like Shia was fun and everything in those other movies, but it's kind of the thing. And I've got a friend who loves Transformers, has tattoos of the Transformers and all that stuff, and he always says that when it comes to these movies, he doesn't care about the humans in the film, and I can get that because we're all there to see the Autobots, we're all there to see the Decepticons, and this movie, the Maximals, and the Terracons, and all that stuff, who all look awesome, and they're all fantastic. And you got these great battles going on, and then you get turned to this human side of things. Now, in the other Transformers movies, it was more like romantically involved with Shia and Megan's character, and then yeah, Shia and his parents, and the parents were sad that he was going off to college, and always had that comedy going on, and here's bit and that bit and all that bits and all that stuff. Not that insane in this film by any means. In Rise of the Beast, it's not to that level. We do have the human interactions of things into the film. We don't have like a military and all that stuff. But we do have some humans in the film. You've probably seen it in the trailer as well. And they kind of more aren't the main story of the whole thing going on. They kind of just get pulled into it, the way it seems. So they're not as annoying as past ones. And I'm saying that from people who are what I've heard from Transformers fans in the past about humans being in the films and all that stuff. They didn't bother me per se, but there were times when I saw them on screen. I'm like, I don't need this. Like, we don't need this scene. I'll be fine without that scene and stuff like that. I just want to see the battles and all that stuff. And the battles are fun. The battles are really good. They kind of get a little in-gamey, Wonder Woman-ish, kind of like battle scenes we've seen in like the comic book films. We could see them here in the end, battle sequences and all that stuff. But awesome scenes nonetheless, and That's not taking anything away from the film itself. The film was very enjoyable. It is worth seeing in theaters because again, you got these big robots battling it out, and if you're seeing it in RPX, your freaking seats vibrating and all that stuff, and the loud firing of the mechanisms of the of the robots and all that stuff, where Optimus Prime is getting that gun ready to go and it goes kind of thing. I am horrible at stuff like this, obviously, but you know what I mean. You've seen the movies, you know what I'm talking about with the sound effects that the Transformers make and all that stuff. So the go for it to see the Transformers, fighting. That's always the draw of these films, and it works very well in this movie, without a doubt. If you enjoyed the Bumblebee film, this is closest to that movie, but nonetheless, all of the Transformers movies, if you enjoyed any of them, you're gonna love this movie. Like, this movie is right in your wheelhouse if you enjoyed all those other Transformers movies. If you're skeptical about all of it, Transformers and all that stuff, if you want to wait for it, give it some time. Movies are hitting streaming and digital very quickly lately, with the exception of Guardians, because Guardians is still doing very well in theaters. But yeah, I mean, give it July, probably it'll be up on Paramount Plus. I would assume. Don't take my word for that, obviously, but at the same time, go to theaters, man. Enjoy the film there. Like I said, it's summertime. It's the summer blockbusters are on the way, and it's Transformers is very much a summer blockbustery movie where you go there and you watch the robots battle, and you eat your popcorn, and you have some rumbling seats, and you have a good time. So not a bad movie overall. Is it a movie I plan on ever seeing again? Freaking who knows? Like I said, I haven't watched the other Transformers movies all that much, so again, that's not necessarily. That's more of personal preference, right? I never, if you're new to the show, I never tell anybody not to watch a film. That's ridiculous. We all have different thoughts and opinions. It's the only reason I give those Rotten Tomato scores is to show the difference in the opinions that happen in this world. And huge differences here. Audiences love this movie way more than critics. So. Nonetheless, I did enjoy the film, for what it was worth. It was, good enough time in theaters, and maybe I do end up seeing it again, because those freaking Maximals are cool, dude. Like, Animal Transformers are freaking awesome. And, I wish we got more of the Dinobots. Is that what they're called? I don't know. That feels right. I'm sure it's not right, because I don't know Transformers that well, but the Dinobots were awesome, and I wish we got more Dinobots. Hopefully, from that other Transformers movie. Hopefully we'll get Dinobots in the future and all that stuff. But nonetheless, man, enjoyed the film. If you are, like I said, perfect way to sell you here. If you enjoyed all the other Transformers movies, you'll enjoy this one, nonetheless. So there you go, man. That's my spoiler-free thoughts on The Rise of the Beast. All right, going from there, we jump into DC news, and of course, I talked about this in the opening. The biggest thing happening in the DC realm right now is The Flash is here. The premiere is going on right now in Los Angeles, where the whole cast was there, including the amazing Ezra Miller, to which Ezra did do some talking, which I was surprised. They were not expected to say anything, but they did do, it looks like, an interview on the red carpet. I haven't seen that yet, but I did see a video of Ezra being introduced by Andy Muschietti, who's introducing the whole cast, and Ezra was the last one they introduced, and the crowd gave Ezra a really good reaction, so that was good to see. Or good to hear, good to see and hear. And then, to my surprise, Ezra spoke there as well, and was very thankful to everybody and everybody that's led up to this moment, and including the new people in charge over there, Zaslav and James Gunn and Peter Safran and all that, and saying some very poignant stuff and thanking them for their care and what's been going on with Ezra. And of course, you don't know, Ezra's been going through some mental health issues and has been seeking treatment and has been in treatment. This is the first time we've seen Ezra since that's all gone on. Ezra, legal-wise, the only thing that's actually happened with Ezra was breaking and entering, to which they have paid for and are on probation for. All the other stuff has been learned to be made up BS. So happy to see Ezra getting the right kind of treatment at the premiere. Love it, man. I'm an Ezra Miller fan. Like I said, if I believed any of the stuff that was going on, if there's actual concrete evidence of this stuff, then I would not support Ezra. But obviously, everything's been proven that the only thing that happened was the breaking and entering, which was wrong, obviously. But they've paid for it, and people are, they pay for their things. We can give people chances. Everybody gets a second chance, right? So Ezra deserves a chance, especially with all the, again, bogus allegations. Can't wait to see that movie, man. So excited for that movie. Going over to The DC stuff, man, if it isn't the Flash, it's Superman Legacy that's getting talked about the most. Gunn was asked about trunks. Will Superman be wearing trunks in the Superman Legacy film or not? To which Gunn said, undecided. We are we are doing incredible amounts of concept art now with both, and we'll use whatever version looks best. For me, the most important aspect of the character goes beyond the trunks, which, absolutely, 100% true. The character's more than whether they're wearing trunks or pants or whatever. Like, all I care about is the film and, the more important aspects of things, other than the suit. We'll be fine, whether Soups is wearing the trunks or not. Other Superman Legacy reports coming out is that the film will introduce certain members of the Authority, not the WWE Authority, the DC Authority. That is the team that is also set to have its own standalone film in the Chapter 1 of the new DCU. So that's cool, and that makes sense that you would, start spreading this stuff out and connecting things here and there, because Superman Legacy is supposed to be the first film of the DCU, but at the same time, The Flash is restarting the timeline. Then you got Blue Beetle, which may or may not be part of the DCU, and Aquaman, which may or may not be part of the DCU. But according to the timeline that came out, Superman Legacy is the first film of the DCU. So we'll wait on those things. A little more Superman talk here. Switching over to TV. Superman and Lois has been renewed for a 4th season with a 10-episode order, while Gotham Knights has been canceled after only 1 season. So, quick thoughts on this. I have not seen the Superman and Lois show, but good on them for getting a 4th season there, as things seem to be changing over in the CW world. I know Flash just ended. Arrow's been done for a while. Supergirl ended not too long ago. Legends of Tomorrow, I think, is gone as well. I haven't paid too much attention to the CW stuff. But Superman and Lois is still going. Now, Gotham Knights, I'm not surprised this got canceled. That's not to say the show's good or bad or not. I haven't seen it. Mostly because I didn't know the show was out. Like, this show has been horribly marketed. Like, I didn't know the show was even out there for people to watch, man. Like, I don't see any marketing. And I follow a ton of DC pages, as you would expect. They have a mandatory DC section of my show. I would follow a lot of DC content. Like, I don't ever hear anything about Gotham Knights until this. Like, this is the first thing I've heard about Gotham Knights in quite some time. Like, they have done a horrible job of marketing it, so I'm not surprised that it's canceled after 1 season. Like, they dropped the ball there. So, anytime I see Gotham Knights, that just reminds me I still need to play that game. Still gotta play that video game. But nonetheless, man, that is the majority of the DC stuff. Again, I implore all of you, if you're listening to the show, Ezra's innocent of the worst allegations against them, obviously. If any of those allegations were true, they would not be walking around free. Be kind. Mental health is not something to use to attack somebody. Mental health is something we should all understand and, be compassionate towards and helpful towards. So there you go, man. I can't wait to see that movie, and I plan on seeing that movie so many times, as many times as I can in theaters. Let's see, jumping over to the horror, spooky, terror realm of news. Lionsgate reimagining the Leprechaun, which that could be scary in itself. The Leprechaun franchise, be honest with you, I've only seen the first movie, and that was so long ago I've forgotten pretty much anything about that movie. I know there's other movies. I think they went to space at one point, which I was supposed to watch with some friends, and Redbox is like, you ain't watching this, so Redbox saved me on that one apparently. And then I feel like they tried to remake Leprechaun with Hornswoggle from the WWE. Not joking. It sounds like a joke. Not a joke at all. Like, that happened. And then I don't know what else has been going on with that franchise. So they're trying to reimagine again. It's kind of getting into that Texas Chainsaw Massacre territory where it seems like, okay, we got to keep reimagining or redoing or trying to make something work here in the franchise. And again, a horror film, horror franchise, you wish them the best and you hope for the best. But again, this is not a franchise I've followed anywhere, towards enough to really know what films are good or not. I think Leprechaun went to the Hood at one point as well, right? So I don't know, man. The fact we haven't had a Chucky versus Leprechaun film, I don't know. I mean, I heard people wanting that movie for a while as well. Chucky's too busy, carrying the horror realm right now. I said it. Chucky's getting ready for, another season of his show. Chucky's getting ready for a haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights. The only haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights this year, apparently, because we've heard absolutely nothing. Which I kid and joke around about. Like, I'm absolutely fine not knowing anything that's going to be at Halloween Horror Nights. Like, I don't have to know. I'm going to be there. I love the event. Like, I love the event to death, so I'm going to be there. You don't have to tell me what's going to be there. I'll be there, guys. Like, just give me the dates and give me the tickets. That's it. That's all I need. But nonetheless, I'm so excited about Chucky House, man. That's just everything to me. I've always wanted to go through a Chucky House. They've had one before. I missed it. I got to see the Scare Zone, which was awesome. I got to do the photo booth where I took the same photo like 3 times. And Chucky's a universal horror icon and just a horror icon in general. So I love that Chucky's been embraced there and they continue to do stuff with Chucky. So can't wait to see and go through that house as many times as possible. To my friends listening that I go to Horror Nights with, I'm going to want to go through that house a lot. So hopefully we can make that happen. If not, I'll probably have to leave y'all at some point. But 'tis the game, I guess. How did I get? Oh, Leprechaun. So they're doing another Leprechaun film. Details are unknown at the moment. Terrifier 3 is happening. It's got a bigger budget than the other films, and it has getting a wide theatrical release next year in North America, it says. Once that time runs out, after its run in theaters runs out, it will be exclusively debuting on Screambox. Sounds like just like what they did with Terrifier 2. This is probably a wider release for Terrifier 3 because of the success of Terrifier 2. Terrifier 2 was released in limited theaters, if I remember correctly, and made a lot of money. And then it went exclusively to Screambox, which got a lot of people joining Screambox for that. I joined Screambox for the Chucky documentary. And I've not watched Terrifier 2. I'm not one of those people who fell in love with Terrifier so quickly, and I'm still trying to figure out what it was that led to that. Maybe it was just the need for maybe a new horror icon in the horror realms and all that stuff. And they saw this character and they're like, oh, cool, we're going to, go after this silent clown, I guess. I've seen Terrifier once and I was like, okay, whatever. But I mean, I'm not judging anybody for what they love. It's fine if you want to love Terrifier. That's awesome. Enjoy what you enjoy, man. It just hasn't struck me in the way that it struck everybody else. But it's cool that for the creators and everything, the film's taken off and they're getting this third film and with a bigger budget. So hopefully they don't lose what's made them. I feel like the tighter budget's probably something that's kept them grounded. Now that they have this bigger budget and everything, they may want to go overboard. And we've seen it with these horror franchises where more and more sequels come out, they go a little over the top skis with things. So we'll see what happens, man. And I'll check out Terrifier 2 at some point. I do have Screambox again. I got it for that Chucky doc. I got to check out the Robert Englund doc. Again, Robert Englund's an icon, plus the way Zach talked about that documentary on recently, like that. I gotta check it out, and I still need to check out the It documentary for the Tim Curry It documentary they have on Screambox, man. I gotta check that out for sure. And I want to do something, man. I have Shudder and Screambox. There's so many options. I just want to turn that into like a show or something. I just gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with that. But fun times at the L Horror Streaming Service Royale, as it is. But Terrifier 3, man, if you're excited for it, be excited for it. It's happening. Let's see. Other horror sequels that are happening. The Purge 6 update. The script has been completed. It was actually completed months ago, so that will not be affected by the writer's strike that's going on right now, which has canceled production on many of things. It seems every week something new is being discussed as being put on halt because of the strike. So let's pay the writers what they deserve, because they deserve to be paid correctly. They deserve all that stuff. So let's take care of that. And AI writing, not the way to go. It is not the future like people expect it to be. It's not that great. Let's be completely honest here. So nonetheless, next Purge film coming after they did the whole final Purge thing. They're doing another Purge film. Very horror franchisey of them. It's the final one. Oh, nope, we're doing another one. What Jason did that. Freaking Saw did that too, right? And then we got a Saw movie coming out this year. Wow. more power to them, man. They know their fans are gonna watch the product, so give it to them, man. But just be careful with that final stuff, especially if you're doing another film so soon. Let's see. Season 2 of Wednesday is happening, and apparently going to be a lot more horrific, according to star Jenna Ortega. She said, quote, "We've decided we want to lean into the horror aspect of the show a little bit more because it is so lighthearted in a show like this with vampires, werewolves, and superpowers. You don't want to take yourself too seriously. We're ditching any romantic love interest from Wednesday, which is really great." End quote. Um, there was some gore in the first season, all that stuff. And I really enjoyed that first season, and I think we all loved Jenna Ortega and everything. And this quote was on actors talking to actors, or whatever the hell that thing's called. I enjoy it. I can't remember the name of it, but her and Elle Fanning were talking, and I'm excited for it, man, because that's one of the things about the first season of Wednesday that I was like, I don't want to see a love triangle. This is not what I signed up for. I signed up for Addams Family, man. I didn't sign up for love triangles and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm excited. I think one of the kids actually got in trouble too. I haven't looked too much into that. I don't know what's going on there, but one of the boys that was involved in that triangle thing there got in trouble in real life. So we'll see what happens with that. Could be leading to that thing as well. But Ortega is producing on season 2 and all that, so she's gonna have her say. And she had her say on the first season, which rightfully so. She's a star, and she's smart. The stuff she came up with that Wednesday shouldn't be doing. Like again, Wednesday's not your regular teenage girl. She's not all that stuff. Like that's not what you're gonna get with the show. So I'm glad that they're moving in a better direction for season 2. And again, I enjoyed season 1. I enjoyed the Addams Family Harry Potter saga. Like that was fine. Like I enjoyed it because again, huge Addams Family fan. If you've seen any videos of me on the show, there's a huge Addams Family poster behind me of the original show. Love that show. It's my all-time favorite show. Loved the '90s films. I've loved the cartoons. I loved the video games that's come for Addams Family. Like I'm an Addams Family guy, right? So when they announced the show, I was like, hell yeah, let's go. And I loved the first season. Again, it's got its Harry Potter aspects to it, which is fine as well, because guess what? I love the Harry Potter realm. So yeah, I enjoyed it, man. I'm just excited that they're going to go more in a horror realm. Can't wait to see more of, oh, what's her name? Enid. Enid now full werewolf powers and all that stuff. Ready to see what she's got going on in this season as well. You got vampires, you got all that stuff, yeah. So, I mean, it's a fun show. Let's just have fun. Let's just have fun with it all, right? Speaking of having fun, let's talk some video games here with news that kind of broke before I was recording here with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. It's officially got a release date and a price. The game will be releasing August 18th for only $39.99. And I say only because video games this day and age, I don't know if you've been paying attention, $70, dude. $70 for a new video game, which it makes me, very, selective about the about the games I buy, right? What was the last video game? Hogwarts Legacy, probably, was the last video game I played, which I need to get back into that, too. Jeez, I don't have enough time in the day, guys. But that's cool. Like, the game, if you're new to the show, I'm not the biggest Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy. Like that goes for anything. I've tried those movies so much. I give the first film, it's flowers, if you will, because of the iconicness of that first film and all that stuff. I don't think it's overly amazing, but I give it what it deserves. Every other Chainsaw film I've watched, I just have not enjoyed that all much. Now, to be fair, I have not seen 2 or the I've heard 2 was good, and I need to watch the. I don't know if I need to watch it, but I haven't seen the Matthew McConaughey Renee Zellweger one. But every other thing I've seen the Texas Chainsaw franchise has just been like, this is tough. Like this is not working for me. Between the 15 reboots it seems that they've had, or the let's do the Halloween thing and do a sequel all these years later and all that stuff, but we're gonna change it up and all that. Yeah, I don't. It doesn't work for me, man. It works for some people, and that's fine. Again, like I said with Terrifier, enjoy what you enjoy, man. but I haven't enjoyed that. That's a long way of saying the video game has my interest. The video game does have my interest. I've seen the videos and stuff. It does look like a fun game, kind of Friday the 13th. Um, the Friday the 13th? Friday the 13th ish? Ish. Teenth. Jesus. Um, and, that game and I were not the best of friends. Now, and we'll get into this news in a moment, so I'll save that for a moment. But it does look fun, and if I can get, if some friends want to play it, then yeah, I could see myself playing it there. But I don't see myself buying this game on its own. Now, I did tease Friday the 13th there. Friday the 13th video game news, a lot of stuff going on over there. First one being that the game that has been out for a number of years now is officially ending. The multiplayer game will be pulled from stores December 31st, 2023, so the end of this year, because of an expired license with the product and the game. Gun Media has dropped the price for the game to $4.99, and the DLC is all 99 cents at the moment. It will stay at that price until the game is officially delisted. Which, again, I know there are people who love that game, and again, more power to you. I've tried it. I can see the fun aspect of it, being one of the counselors and, trying to get away from Jason, or even being Jason and killing people. The problem with me is when I play that game, I'm too freaking stupid, apparently, and I just morph into trees every single time I try to play it. I've killed some people. I've killed some of the counselors and all that, but it's like, I don't know. It gives me too much of a headache. And I haven't played the Evil Dead game. I have that game downloaded and all that because it was part of the PlayStation thingy. But I don't know. Those games aren't the games I play, man. The multiplayer, survival games are not my thing. I haven't played Dead by Daylight. I've seen videos of it. Seems fun for people. I don't know. It doesn't, draw me in. Now, Nick Cage, was at the Summer Game Fest thing recently, and they talked about what he'll be doing. He's playing one of the survivors and all that stuff. So if you want to play Dead by Daylight for Nick Cage, then there you go. And while we're on that Summer Game Fest thing, John Carpenter video game was announced. See if I can pull up some details on that real quick for you. Yeah, so with John Carpenter, you've got Toxic Commando, which was announced at Summer Game Fest with a reveal trailer, which showcased the game's first-person shooter mechanics. It will also be a co-op shooter, which allows up to 4 players. John Carpenter, collaboration, iconic filmmaker, blah, 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 blah. So you can check out that reveal trailer and all that good stuff. Yeah, here we go. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando follows a band of mercenaries dubbed the Toxic Commandos. Oh, shocker. As they fight hordes of mutated monsters threatening Earth. While not the best in the business, they've been hired to send the Sludge God and his army of abominable creatures. That took me way too long to say that word. To the underworld. Players can choose from classes that fit their play style to better combat these forces. They can also employ a wide variety of weapons against the Sludge God's forces. Toxic Commando will launch in 2024 for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, and PC via Epic Games Store. Again, that reveal trailer is out there if you want to check that out. I am not a first-person view game person, so I will not be playing that game. But nonetheless, that's happening horror-wise, video game-wise. With Friday the 13th, that game is now ending, so if you already have the game, you should be fine. I guess you can still play. I don't know the rules, but no need to be too sad, Friday the 13th video game playing fans out there, because apparently there is another Friday the 13th game on the horizon. Friday the 13th composer Harry Manfredini has kind of teased a new Friday the 13th game with a different studio that has, quote, more realistic looking characters and will be reportedly, quote, done in a different style to that of the previous multiplayer title, end quote. And of course, Harry Manfredini is writing the score for it and all that stuff. If it's a story, like, I'm in, dude. Like, I love the story aspects. I love me a story horror game, man. I am all about story horror. Like, you've heard me talk about it on the show before. I love the supermassive games, like Until Dawn, all that stuff. Man of Maiden, freaking House of Ashes. I'm forgetting names at the moment, but nonetheless, I love that stuff, man. They've done a fantastic job with what they've done. And, you give me a horror video game like Friday the 13th, even somebody like myself who I again respect the iconic history of Friday the 13th, but I wouldn't say it's a horror franchise I watch a ton of, but I will watch it because they are goofy fun, right? Um, but I would absolutely jump at a game like that where you're playing a story within the Friday the 13th realm, and hopefully that would lead into other stuff. Like give me a freaking Chucky game, give me a Michael Myers game, give me with a story and all that stuff. That would be awesome. But apparently there, nonetheless, is another Friday the 13th game on the way, and I am excited for you Friday the 13th fans, man. We'll see what that is as more stuff gets revealed, but Friday the 13th stuff is going down, man. We've got that, and we've, of course, got the show coming to Peacock. So there you go. Fun times. All right, man, and that does it for the horror stuff. So before we close out the show, we got some other bits of news. First one being I mentioned earlier about the writer strike. Now, the latest casualty to writer strikes is Mission Impossible 8, as production has delayed due to said strike. So I'll have to wait a little bit longer for Mission Impossible 8, it seems. Over on the streaming side, Zack Snyder's Netflix space opera Rebel Moon is being split into two films because Zack Snyder does not know how to make a short film. Multiple cuts will be released for each installment. He explained that the first will be one, quote, that anyone can enjoy and watch, with the second for each installment to be more adult oriented. The first chapter, Rebel Moon, will be arriving on Netflix December 22nd of this year, while the release date for the second hasn't been set at the moment. So, I like Zack Snyder. Like, I'm not a Snyder fan bot that we've seen all over the place lately, but especially around the DC realm of things. But I like Zack Snyder. I enjoyed his, zombie films and all that stuff. And, I did enjoy his Justice League film, obviously. But we'll see what, this turns into. Like, this is his Star Wars film, right? So let's see how it all turns out over there on the Netflix. And the last bit of news here, Captain America New World Order is no more. It is now Captain America Brave New World. It's very Disney sounding. The film is releasing May 3rd, 2024. Brave New World is very, it sounds so much like a Disney thing. Whole new world, brave new world, all that stuff. I guess old Captain America didn't want to take on, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, but uh, I don't care. I mean, the name was fun to begin with. The name now is fine, I guess. Like, very Disney of them again, and they're owned by Disney, so it all makes sense, right? In the long haul of it all, it makes sense. I am excited for that because when it comes to Marvel, I've loved those Captain America films, and this is the fourth Captain America film. Of course, obviously, going in a different direction, which I'm all for. Can't wait to see how it all turns out. I did enjoy the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, so I'm ready for more, man. If there's something with Marvel that I always look forward to, it is Captain America and Guardians has just ended. So got Captain America to look forward to now, man, and we'll see how all things go there. Might not have anything Wanda to look forward to. That's one of the things I've thoroughly enjoyed is Elizabeth Olsen's Wanda Maximoff, but looks like we're not going to be getting any more of that anytime soon. She seems very happy no longer playing it from what I'm seeing in some of these, press things that she's doing. Now, she's being respectful, of course, to her time as the character and said she loved doing it and all that, but you can tell she's kind of just beat on it all and done with it all. And I feel like she's even said that she didn't really like the direction they took things with Doctor Strange and all that stuff. If I remember correctly, I could very well be wrong. But again, she has been respectful to it all. But yeah, it sounds like she's about ready to be done with it. She's played the character since Age of Ultron, right? So what is that? Almost 10 years, if not 10 years. So yeah, I mean, at the same time, if I was in any of these people's shoes and I was like, if I was Batman and they wanted me to keep being Batman, I'm gonna keep being Batman. So I don't know. That aspect, I respect decisions, of course, but I'm just saying, if I was Batman, I'm gonna keep being Batman as long as they want me to be Batman. That's what I'm saying. But also saying that's the end of the show. All right, let's go ahead and close the show out again. Super happy birthday to my brother Tombstone Josh. Hope he enjoys his birthday. all that stuff. Anything else? Flash Week, go see The Flash Man again. Be kind to mental health. It is something to be taken very seriously. It's not a joke or a tool to be used as a weapon. Be kind to mental health. Be understanding, and go see The Flash. That's going to do it for the show. I appreciate you always taking the time to listen to me ramble on about the movie stuff. I have so much fun doing the show, and hopefully y'all have fun listening to me do the show. But that brings us to a close. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year. And always remember that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.